Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino. Tommy over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood with us today. A little Thursday edition of Sports Shorts Daily. Normally we do it on Fridays. We had to make a little programming change, so we're doing it here on a Thursday. We'll talk about some of the games of the weekend later on, but also we'll talk plenty about the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. I am presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Go to lasportshall.com and look. If you want to learn about the 2025 Hall of Fame class, go to lasportshall.com. You can read the bios on all 8 of these Hall of Famers. And then, of course, also we've got our Gridiron Kickoff Classic auction going on right now. Just click the link. You'll see the logo right there on the lasportshall.com page, and you can bid on auction items. The auction is benefiting, of course, the museum and all the improvements and things that we're doing over there over the next 2 year and a half. But got some cool auction items, man, and not just sports, but dinner six, chef's tasting, wine pairing, best of supper club. Chef Layton over there is going to provide you 5 of the best things they serve at the supper club: wagyu, king crab, you name it. And so that's just one of the premier items. Rufino's dinner for 6, chef's tasting, wine pairing, either at the Lafayette location or at the Baton Rouge location. Other things as well, a 2-night stay at the Ritz-Carlton in New Orleans, et cetera. Go check it out. Golf rounds, go check it out at lasportshall.com. And, of course, I'm presented by LeBear's Casino, where LeBear's Casino is going to be absolutely rocking this weekend. 2:30 kickoff, LSU UCLA. That means that folks are going to be partying at LeBear's, not only during the game in the ESPN Bet Sportsbook, but afterwards. Edge Lounge is going to be the place Friday and Saturday night. That's the live entertainment starts at 10 o'clock at the Edge Lounge on the casino floor in the back left corner. No floor. You got to be 21 and over. Great weekend. So go have a lot of fun. Go dancing. Go check out some live music at the Edge Lounge. All right, TK. Last night, some LSU Tigers doing some good things in MLB. Huh? Nola just continues to roll along. Got a no decision, but another outing. Skeens and Nola have just been fantastic this year.
They really have, and Kevin Gosman throws today. So, they got a lot of LSU flavor having some success on the bump in the big leagues. But probably the story coming out of Major League Baseball, Shohei Ohtani. He's about to join the 50-50 club. That's 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. Used to be a big thing that 30-30 was really cool back in the 70s, 80s. A guy that could hit 30 bombs and steal 30 bases, the combination of power and speed. Then it got to be 40-40. Now it's never been done. He's sitting at 48 home runs, 49 stolen bases, and he has 10 games remaining on his schedule. And the manager, Dave Roberts, has said it's possible he'll throw in the postseason. He'll get on the mound and pitch. Okay, he had said he wouldn't pitch for a year, but now they're talking about it. The way Roberts said it was, let's just say it's not 0% chance that he throws in the playoffs. That was his quote, word for word. So, I mean, this guy, I know everybody's got football in their brain right now, but what this guy's doing in baseball are things that have never done before. Kind of like Skeens is doing things that a rookie pitcher has never done before. He's doing something that's never happened as a baseball player, and I mean, it's just amazing.
Isn't it incredible how these stories that are out there that we feel like just suck up all the air and take up, the headline, all people talk about and think about for a couple of days or a week, and then all of a sudden, like, here we are 6 months down the line, and no one mentions Ohtani and the gambling debt and then his agent and his translator, and did he get ripped off, paid off? What, like, it's gone, just disappeared. It's just gone.
MLB buried that intentionally. We don't, who knows what really happened. We may not never know. We may get a book, 10 years from now. But they did a good job of burying, which would have shook MLB to the ground.
The other thing about, like the biggest scandal right now in the world is P. Diddy got arrested a day ago. And not only did he get arrested, Tommy, but the government, who had been kind of working this case for months because everybody thought he was going to be arrested many, many months ago, when the FBI and whatnot raided a lot of his properties and all that. And clearly they were behind the scenes putting together this case very carefully. But P Diddy's lawyers had put together a $50 million bail package. They put up basically $50 million worth of collateral to say he is not a flight risk. Give him bail. You can have this house, that house, this car, this plane, whatever. $50 million, and they said, we're not worried about him being a flight risk. We're worried about him being a witness intimidation risk, and they sent him straight to jail.
Well, and then he did a second appeal for bail to be released. Said he would have no contact with a female if
Right,
they would let him out, and they told him no.
right,
I don't know. I think he's going to be in there a while. And of course, now the pictures are surfacing. You know, him and Taylor Swift arm in arm, and other celebrities that ran the gamut with him. And we don't know if anything happened that wasn't supposed to happen, but it's the perception of it. It's
yeah.
just like
I mean, if you go back the last 25 years and almost even 30 years, anybody in the pop culture, pop industry, music industry of any kind has rubbed shoulders with them or is in a photo with them, has been to a party, whatever. So I'm not going to go that far. Like every single person's up to no good, kind of like the scandals with our other guy. It's unbelievable how somebody like and then like the P Diddy thing. For those that don't know, just go Google it. Go spend a little time just looking up on it so you understand what we're talking about. But it's crazy. It's right up there with R. Kelly type stuff, maybe even worse. I mean, it's just bizarre how fame and popularity and all that and doing what you love isn't enough. You gotta delve deeper into the crazy world and in the sick world, and you got to get that high some kind of way. And oh, it's just insane what P Diddy it looked like he was doing behind.
Well, it goes back to something I've always heard that, there's certain vices in life that let you know you have too much money. It's kind of what happened with him. It's like back in the day in the 80s, if somebody was running around with cocaine in their pocket, you always say, hey, you got too much money if you're fooling with that. Well, magnify it to now. And, who knows what will happen with that. But time will tell. But, Ronnie, we got some important news out of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Look, we both have our shirts on today, right? We both went with the Hall of Fame. And we didn't plan that, ladies and gentlemen. I just knew it was appropriate because of what we're about to talk about.
Well, the 2025 class came out yesterday at 10 a.m. Now, it was supposed to have been released the week prior, but because of the storm, we decided to delay it to yesterday. And you see some of the names and faces. The 8 Hall of Famers will have a couple specialty award winners and stuff added to it in a couple of months. But right now, I want to tell you just a little bit and let Tommy chime in on what you're seeing there on your screen. When that's our Hall of Fame class, which is 3 coaches, which we haven't, really had before, and different sports: basketball, baseball, football. I'll tell you about them first, and then, of course, kind of get to some of the other sports. But Danny Broussard, top left there on your screen, he's the head basketball coach at St. Thomas More in Lafayette. Is in his mid 60s, still very active. Danny Broussard is 6th all time in the United States of America as far as high school basketball wins. Here's the thing that's incredible. One, still active, and who knows? I mean, he did have some medical issues last year, missed a number of games, but came back. He is 6th all time. 3rd all time in the country is Charles Smith at Peabody High School in Alexandria, who's still active as well. So the state of Louisiana has 2 of the top 6 high school basketball coaches in wins all time, and both of them are still coaching and will probably move up the list. April Burkholder, she'd be on the Mount Rushmore of gymnastics when it comes to LSU gymnastics. Dee Dee Brose said she's one of the people that kind of helped build the program 15, 16 years ago. multiple All-American, great gymnast, and kind of was the showman that helped put the fans in the seats. And now you go to gymnastics meets and they're sold out. Danny Granger, who's from New Orleans, played high school basketball in New Orleans, didn't play college in Louisiana, but went on to have a stellar NBA career. At one point in time, averaged 21 a game 3 years in a row, made a couple of NBA All-Star teams. Just a fantastic player, great individual. He's, of course, from Louisiana, from New Orleans, and was most spent his better part of his good years with the Indiana Pacers.
And Ronnie, he played at Grace King High School in Metairie.
Who knew they're no longer there, no longer has a basketball program. Grace King, I don't believe. Vicki Johnson is the last of the Louisiana Texter greats. She played there in 1999, was her last year, coached in the WNBA as a head coach, now an assistant coach. Vicki Johnson played 12, 13 years in the WNBA. Great player. 80s and 90s, it wasn't about LSU women's basketball. It was about the Lady Texters, and she's one of the last of the greats from that era. Guy right there, George Bobby Swallow, an interesting pick. Many people don't know, much like last year when we had Kevin Jackson in, that LSU had a wrestling program. Well, that went away in the mid 80s, thanks to Title IX and expenses and all that. Well, LSU had a boxing program for a long time, as many high schools had boxing as well. That went away in the late 50s, boxing in high schools and college. And Bobby Swallow was a fantastic boxer at LSU, three-time All-American and national champion. But then when he got done in college, went on to be a very good high school football coach for decades over in the Ville Platte area. But he is going in for his boxing prowess. Joe Sherman, of course, a good friend of yours and mine. One of 5 father-son combinations in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. His dad, Rags, went in many decades ago. Joe Sherman, of course, from Delgado, the winningest college baseball coach in the state of Louisiana. Dale Weiner from Catholic High, Baton Rouge. Of course, Dale Weiner was on the same staff as Jim Hightower. Jim Hightower was already in Louisiana Sports, head coach of St. Thomas More. Dale Weiner and Jim Hightower won a state championship at Catholic Point, compete back in the 80s. But they both went their separate ways. One went to STM, one went to Catholic High. And Dale Weiner, of course, a legendary coach. Last won a state championship, I believe, 2015. Kind of has, over the last decade, Catholic High has been the #1 team in Division I football in the state of Louisiana. Dale Weiner is the one that put them on that course. Major Applewhite, the work done, you name it. He's going in this year. And lastly, Andrew Whitworth, who was an All-American in high school at West Monroe, was an All-American at LSU, of course, played 16, 17 years in the NFL, won a Super Bowl at the end of his career with the Rams in Los Angeles, but played a lot of his time in Cincinnati. And, of course, now you check him out on Amazon Prime and NFL Network. So Andrew Whitworth, who's the former Walter Payton Man of the Year. I mean, the guy's got more accolades. He'll be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame one day, but he's going in.
Well, another thing about Whitworth, number one, I got to interview him one time at the old Red Rock and Blue Jock Doucette's celebrity softball tournament. It was actually at the LSU softball field. And we talked for a good bit before we did the interview. And all I remember was what a nice guy. Number one, aside, look, and he's on a very short list, Ronnie, of people who can say they won a high school state championship, a college national championship, and a Super Bowl. Believe it or not, that list is not real long. There's only one person ever did that in basketball, and I believe great guy, as I said, and I remember that about him, and totally deserving to be in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame.
I know you have a relationship with the Shermans. Not only did you play for Rags, but also longtime friend Joe. Talk about your connection to Delgado, Joe Sherman, and all that.
Well, I played in the Nord All American League, got to know Rags, and Joe was like a bat boy back then. Okay, I'm 3 years older than Joe. And then, of course, he played at Delgado, and then he played at Tulane. We missed each other my 1 year, my Southeast, and his Tulane career. We've always been friends. The Sherman family and Joe and I have always stayed in touch about different things. He'd call me up if I knew any players in the area, that kind of thing. And I go back to shortly after Katrina. He called you. You were doing Jumbo Sports TV, really doing a lot of things. He wanted to get Delgado baseball on TV. You had like a million things going on. You said, "Hey, call TK." "Ah, I know TK. I'll call him." I went to New Orleans. I met with he and Lenny Van Gilder and a few people. And we ended up putting Delgado baseball on TV. First time that they had ever been on. Now they've been on and they stream all that stuff. And he thanked me yesterday about that when I texted him and congratulated him about being in the Hall of Fame. He said, "Hey, you were the first to ever put us on TV." So, yeah, but it started with you and then shifted to me. So we both played a role in that. And it makes me proud to know that. And look, here's another thing about Delgado. They've been around 50 years. They've had three athletic directors: Joe's father, Rags, Tommy Schmidt, who was the AD there for 30 years, and now Joe. That's the only three ADs they've had in 50 years. And of course, there's only been two baseball coaches there, Rags and Joe. If the whole Sherman family's involved, his mother passed away within the last year. She never missed a game thing. I mean, Kirsch Rooney it should be almost, it is Rag Sherman Field, but Kirsch Rooney Stadium, anybody that ever been there, and I played there, I was lucky to be on that list that played in that stadium many a time. It's all about the Sherman family and what an impact in New Orleans and the number of people that he's impacted, that played for him, went to school there, whatever. It's amazing.
First time I actually ever played in Kirsch Rooney was Nord football. I played for the Lakeview Vikings when I was 8 or 9 years old, and we had my first ever football game was in Kirsch Rooney Stadium.
I didn't know that. Now I'll tell you this: there's two pretty famous people that hit home runs in Kirsch Rooney Stadium. A guy named Hank Aaron, a guy named Joe DiMaggio hit home runs in Kirsch Rooney Stadium. So, and not to mention that from Will Clark, the Rusty Staub, Ron Washington. He's a member of the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. The list is endless of people who played in that park. It's got such a tradition.
And if you've been by Kirsch Rooney, it's right. Delgado is located right there in the heart of New Orleans by City Park, across City Park, and the baseball fields on the back end of the campus next to Lakeview Playground. They now, for folks that haven't been, they now have a locker room and offices and a little balcony overlooking the field that Gail Benson wrote a big check for to help support that program, because for years they had no locker room facilities. Players would get dressed in the parking lot, and then eventually they took some of those
sea can. They had a sea can as a locker.
shipping containers and threw a little air conditioning in them and kind of made like a little makeshift locker rooms and all that. But now it's pretty.
I hosted the Joe Sherman coaches show in that sea can next to the third base dugout, and we had to like make a quick makeshift studio real quick. As Joe and I are sitting in there, so I couldn't be happier for he and his family. And I know a lot of people that are in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, but that was special to me because we go back 45 years or so, me and that family.
Yeah, Danny Broussard's going to bring a ton of
Well,
people from Lafayette.
and I'm good friends with Ricky Broussard, so
Brother
his brother.
at Nichols, and that's how Danny got the job. Ricky was head coach at St. Moore. College basketball came calling in the middle of the season. He left, and Danny got moved up to the head coach, and he's been he and his brother been the only head coaches at STM history, going back 40 years. So pretty cool stuff for all those. We'll talk plenty more about these Hall of Famers. We have an event coming up November 17th, 18th, a golf event at LeBear's Casino and U Club that many of these Hall of Famers, past and present, will be at. So we'll tell you plenty more about that. And we haven't announced the date for the Hall of Fame induction weekend, but it'll be one of the last 2 weekends in June. We're just dotting I's and crossing the T's on a couple more things, but it'll be at the end of June 2025 is when we'll have the 3-day event up in Natchitoches. So going to be fun. Congratulations to everyone involved. Before football this weekend, TK, I mean, like ticket prices are going through the roof for Saints and Eagles, as people still are just in shock at what the Saints have done. That's noon on Sunday. If you can't be in that number, you can check it out noon on Sunday, or go by the ESPN Bet Sportsbook and kind of get the feel. Nothing like watching a game with a bunch of fans around you cheering and yelling. I got the chance to do that last week. I don't really do it that often at restaurants or sports bars or sports books because I'm usually at the games. But last week I was in North Dallas Got a chance to watch with Mike Neal, my college roommate, captain of the '93 national championship team. We were at an LSU alumni viewing party in North Dallas, and we were there with probably 80 people, 80 alumni or friends of alumni, or whatever. And it was just cool. It was cool to be to live the agony when they were down 17-0, and then also to ecstasy when they came back and won, and the field goal was missed. But definitely consider doing that if you can't be there with the Saints on Sunday, because the Hoodats right now are on fire. Nobody.
Oh, wait for Ronnie to jump back in. Go ahead. I was good.
No, I was just saying we're not questioning what's going on in New Orleans. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Can't explain it. Don't have the answer. Nobody does. Nobody saw this coming. If anybody tells you, "Oh yeah, I thought we were going to be great this year," they lying. They're lying to you. But
Well,
just a ride, folks. Just enjoy it. Just go with it. Don't question
well,
it.
and I would say this: Saints are 2-0, Eagles are 1-1, and like I said yesterday, the Eagles are a drop pass away from being 2-0. So I don't think this isn't a strong opponent, and the dome's going to be rocking. I mean, the black and gold. I mean, the dome will be the dome foam will be flowing, and the dome will be rocking. And it should be an incredible atmosphere. And see if the Saints can get win number 3. That would definitely be not expected.
TK, I got to jump off. Go ahead and tell the folks about Saturday, and I'll talk to you then.
Right. I will. Well, first off, we'll tell you about Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Just got a big shipment of meat in, ton of meat, everything you need. Good meat ain't cheap. Cheap meat ain't good. They got it all here at Tremonti's for all of your tailgating needs, whatever you need for the weekend. People coming to the house to watch the game. You got to go to somebody's house. Stop by Tremonti's on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Be amazed at all the things that they have in here. Got some swamp buckets back in here in stock now. Those little buckets you can boil up some shrimp and some stuff in. You want to check that out. Also, again, no Sports Shorts Daily tomorrow because we had to jump in there today. But don't forget, this Saturday morning, Sports Shorts Radio is going to slide on the clock, 12:30 to 2:30. 12:30 to 2:30 because of the kickoff time of LSU. We'll take you right up to kickoff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We'll be live and in color from the walk-ons in Brewley. Stop by, come get something great to eat. Got a million TVs at the walk-ons in Brewley. And we'll be there in the house and 12:30 to 2:30. And you can, if you can't go by the walk-ons in Brewley, stop by. Go listen on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Get their app, the whole bit. You can do that. Hey, as we always say, don't forget to like and share this show. That's very important. We appreciate that. So like and share this show. And we will see you on Saturday with radio and back for more Sports Shows Daily next Monday when we'll be over in Port Allen at Court Street Cafe. Don't forget steak night Saturday night, Court Street Cafe. After the LSU game, go get a filet or a ribeye from. They use Tremonti's Chairman's Reserve meat at Court Street Cafe. Steak night Saturday night. I want you to check that out. It'll be a great idea after the game. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Christ saying have a great day, everyone.